What is up? What is up, guys? This is MCG. First episode. I'm so pumped. I'm gonna get my cancel channeled. I'm gonna get my channel canceled. My first episode. We're talking of Logan Paul versus Floyd. Pretty boy, money, Mayweather. Or if you want it the other way, Mayweather versus Paul. Basically, I'm gonna come out and say it. I think Logan Paul has a very high chance to win this fight. Logan Paul said himself, nobody's predicting him to win. I am. I'm predicting he will win. And he's going to pull off the upset come this Sunday. So before we get into the nitty gritty of what I'm going to get into, we have to look at the details. This is happening on Sunday, June 6th, this Sunday at 8 p.m. This is going to be not 6 rounds, as I once thought. It's going to be 8 rounds. So we know Floyd Mayweather is not Mike Tyson. He's not going to come in there and try to knock out Jake Paul. That would be a big mistake for him to go into the inside and just trade with this man, a much bigger man, and brawl with him. That's not what Floyd Mayweather does. Yeah, he may have tried that and have done and did it successfully against Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor, I don't think he punches that hard, and he's his chin is probably a little suspect too, although he didn't get knocked down. But I think Logan Paul pulls this off. Um, there are four scenarios. One is Logan Paul boxes Mayweather, keeps him at bay with his jab, kind of like Vladimir Klitschko. You know, the Klitschko brothers style. They just keep them at the end of their punches. Don't let them get in. That's what Lennox Lewis did, but he was way more exciting. I can see Logan Paul doing that. I can see him pulling that off, and he could win just on points, even though Mayweather is the favorite, and they're gonna want to stop this fight early. If Logan Paul gets into early trouble and they see he's not punching back, the referee's going to stop the fight early because I'm pretty sure the referee is paid off. Kind of like what happened, uh, well, in a lot of fights. I'm not going to name the fights, but you know what those fights are, where you have a favorite champion and then they see just the slightest chance of the other guy in trouble and they stop the fight, early stoppage. So that's one scenario. The jab part of Logan Paul. That's one. Number two is Mayweather gets him in trouble early, and then they call a stoppage early. Uh, so Mayweather would have to really pile it on him and just be incredibly evasive, and he could do it. Of all boxers, he could do that, but that's not what he's known for. He's not slipping slipping punches and going in there like Mike Tyson trying to destroy you. Although we did see a glimpse of that against McGregor. That's I think that's only because McGregor doesn't punch that hard, and or at least Mayweather could take his punches. And another scenario is where Mayweather goes in there and just brawls with the man, which is probably the stupidest idea because you're going to get knocked out if you do that. So I don't see him doing that. And then another scenario, you'd say the fourth scenario is Logan Paul is going to brawl with Mayweather. He's going to get him into the deep waters and try to, you know, have him commit and get caught. Actually, there's a lot of scenarios here when it comes to Logan Paul on the attack. He could cut off the corner, kind of like George Foreman and Muhammad Ali, except you cut off the corner with Mayweather and you just keep wailing at him, just keep him trapped in there. That's going to be a challenge because Mayweather is very slippery. He's got great defense. He's got one of the best defenses in all of history, of boxing history. He could probably get himself out of there. So it's not going to be an easy task by no means. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I do have to mention Mayweather is very, very arrogant as his usual self. But I've noticed he's also very, even his life is very immoral. He's promoting like strip clubs and stuff. I don't see God blessing him. Ultimately, I think God will give the victory to Logan Paul. If that's, God's will, Logan Paul wins because Mayweather's just so haughty and he's elevating this corrupt lifestyle. Whereas Logan Paul, not that he's a choir boy or anything like that, but he's got at least some decency. He's trying to change his life around from. We remember the depths of his. He hit rock bottom with that video that he did in Japan, And I don't think anyone really liked that video. Very few people like that video, but he's on the road to redemption, whether people like it or not. He's working hard. He's busting his butt off, training for 3 4 years in boxing, as well as his brother Jake Paul. And so that's why I think Logan Paul wins, because he's kind of like the David in a spiritual sense. Obviously, he's a lot bigger than Mayweather, whereas Mayweather is more of a Goliath because he's got that experience. He is the elite. He's one of the greatest boxers of all time. Why would you bet against him? It'd be stupid. But Logan Paul's no pushover either. He's gonna shock the world. I think he's gonna shock the world. However, this is the big X factor here. It's this man called Diego Corrales. Now, Diego Corrales is an opponent that Mayweather had fought, who is a lot bigger than Mayweather as well. So if Mayweather channels what he did against Diego Corrales, we could see a repeat. Because look, Corrales was almost 6 feet, 5 foot 10 and a half. So about 3 inches shorter than Logan Paul is. But I mean, that's still a little bit of a difference. It's not a massive difference, but it's significant nonetheless. And he fought in two weight divisions, featherweight and lightweight. But again, lightweight, see, super featherweight, he fought Mayweather, recorded his first knockdown and loss. Okay, Mayweather knocked him down 5 times. I think it would be important to actually look at the highlights of that fight just to see how that occurred. I might have to just mute the video. Yeah, I'll just keep it muted. I don't want to get any copyright strikes or anything, although this channel will probably get canceled before before I know it, because I'm not here to get the approval of people. Obviously, if I was, I would just say, "Oh, Mayweather will win," because that's what everyone else is saying. No, I'm just saying this not just to cause controversy, because I'm actually being truthful. I'm telling you the truth. I think Logan Paul pulls this off. And a lot of people are going to be shocked. Yes, Mayweather's a lot older. I wouldn't say he's a lot slower. He's a little bit slower, but not a lot slower. I'd say his mind is pretty sharp. I'd say he's motivated. But fact is, as you get older, your reflexes will decrease. So I'm going to look up Mayweather Corrales, and we're going to look at some highlights and see, is this the fight we should be looking at? Because as a kind of prototype of what we're going to see on Sunday, uh, what we saw against McGregor, I don't think that's a good comparison, because Logan Paul's boxing skills are probably at least twice as good as Conor McGregor. Although Logan Paul did lose against KSI, KSI is no pushover either. I'm not saying he's a professional boxer, but he wasn't exactly, just a tomato can either. He looked like he has power behind his punches. He doesn't have fundamentals. I'm not saying he does have good boxing skills, but he looks like he had potential. So I'm not sure why this is not loading. Mayweather Corrales. So let's look that up. So I understand I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I'm going to get thousands of down thumbs and all that, but that's not what this is about. I'm just here to give the perspective. And then, once Logan Paul wins, you can go back to this channel and go, wow, Nostradamus, he predicted it. You predicted it right. No one else was predicting this except for maybe Logan Paul himself. Um, so let's look at the highlights. Here it is. So it's 5 minutes long. And you can see there's a clear size difference here between the two fighters. I got my Let's Go Champ hat on. Got my Kronk Gym shirt on. Let me just show you what I'm wearing. Kronk Gym shirt. Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis rules Roots of Fight. Got my George Foreman trunks on, signed by George Foreman himself. Got these MMA gloves. So this channel is all about number one music. Number one, music. Number two, gaming. And number three, commentary on whatever, mostly the fight games, so MMA, boxing. So let's just improve the resolution here. I don't know. It's at 144p. I could barely see. It looks like a big mess. Maybe 480 or 720 might do it. So we got 5 minutes. So I think this is the prototype of what we could see on Sunday, because you have to take into consideration Floyd Mayweather is a lot older now. He's a little slower. He's not as hungry. Logan Paul is very hungry. You can tell he wants to prove something, and he's got nothing to lose. That's an opponent you got to be afraid of. Floyd Mayweather has everything to lose. He loses against a YouTuber, so to speak, and he is technically a YouTuber. His stock plummets to like zero. I don't know if he's ever going to fight after that. He might have to just stay retired, like permanently. It's going to be such a disgrace, although he would probably ask for a rematch. Unless he's demolished. I don't see that happening, being demolished, but you never know. I think Logan Paul's best chance is just to keep him at bay with the jab and just box him. But boxing Floyd Mayweather, Mayweather's a very tall task. On the other hand, if he tries to knock out Mayweather, I don't know. Is he gonna be successful where Canelo, Pacquiao weren't? I mean, doesn't make any sense to me. But if he just keeps him at the end of his jab, I'm talking about Logan Paul keeping Mayweather at the end of his jab, he's got a chance because he's just got longer arms. A bigger, stronger fighter usually beats the smaller, weaker fighter. As it's a clear case, classic case of speed versus power, and not just power but size. So, I mean, Mike Tyson couldn't beat Lennox Lewis, and Floyd Mayweather is no Mike Tyson. He can't punch as hard as Tyson. So I don't know if he's going to hurt Logan Paul. I don't know. We don't know what his chin is like, but let's take a look at this fight. It's taking a while to load. Yeah, it's what I see happening. I see Mayweather. He's going to fight a fight like this, and if he does, then everything I said is just a bunch of baloney. But notice Corrales is not jabbing. Logan Paul will be jabbing. Oh, okay, he's trying to jab, but he's one chasing Mayweather. Notice that Mayweather's a counter puncher, and his speed is just, yeah, you can see that. So I think the fight will be a lot like this, except Logan Paul will probably be a little bit smarter than Corrales, which doesn't make sense to me, but you're going to see that he's got a lot to prove. He's got a good jab. He's got fundamentals. Corrales is just being inactive during these highlights, at least. He's not using his size to his advantage as much. I mean, he's not using his long arms to his advantage as much, although he is standing up tall, and Mayweather is having to punch up. But if anyone can be, you know, a much bigger fighter, Floyd Mayweather will do it. However, I'm going to stick to what I'm saying. Logan Paul can pull this out, and don't be shocked if he does. So you can see the way that Mayweather's controlling the center of the ring. He's not, oh, there, he's in the corner there, and he's able to get out. I mean, I'm sure many people have tried to knock out Mayweather in his fights by cutting off the corner, but it's easier said than done. So that's why I say is probably the best chance for Logan Paul is just to keep him at bay with his jab, keep him at the end of his punches. When he tries to get in, don't give him anything, something like that. See, I mean, Logan Paul could do that, but Mayweather's defense is legendary. So you're just gonna have to be very smart about it. Logan Paul will have to box him, jab, jab, right hand, straight right hand, and keep your hands up too. Oh, that left hook is really quick. And Floyd Mayweather, obviously, he's got fast hands. He's got a full arsenal. He could throw any punch. You can see Mayweather is a lot more hungry. I don't know if we might see a Mayweather like this, just not as fast. But compared to Logan Paul, he's going to be this fast. He's got that straight right hand is what he's going to catch Logan Paul with. So he's got to train to counter that straight right hand in the left hook. That's probably Mayweather's most potent punch is the straight right. He used it against Pacquiao to great effectiveness, and he knocked down Corrales 5 times. I mean, Mayweather isn't known for having power, but he really, when he catches you and you don't see it, anybody will knock you down. So it's going to be an exciting fight. I mean, if Logan Paul is bringing it, Mayweather's bringing it, and they're not just putting on a boring fight, it could be pretty exciting. 8 rounds of boxing, no headgear, and like 30 pounds, maybe more of a difference. Whereas these two, Mayweather Corrales, there aren't 30 pounds of difference in this fight, maybe 10 or 20 at the most. So you got to take that into account. Logan Paul is a bigger, stronger man than probably Corrales, maybe. Corrales was known to have a lot of power, um, but he's not using his jab. As you can see, he's just letting Mayweather come in, cut the distance. And Corrales didn't seem like he was motivated to win. He wasn't really attacking Mayweather. He wasn't. Okay, that's it. So yeah, I think that I think that what do I think? I think that Corrales really wasn't trying to kill Mayweather. He wasn't out for blood. He wasn't. He didn't show his killer instinct on display. He was kind of just surviving, and he was countering a counterpuncher, and it wasn't working for him. Mayweather, he outboxed him. He outwitted him big time. So Logan Paul is gonna have to pull off probably the greatest upset in boxing history since Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson, and bigger because yeah, Logan Paul isn't known to be uh, a professional boxer. People still see him as an amateur, and rightly so. He is still learning, as is his brother, who's got another huge fight, which I'll do another video on. Uh, Jake Paul versus Ty. Forgot his name right now. I don't want to get it wrong, but UFC fighter anyway. Woodley, I think his last name is Woodley. So that's all I have for this video. Everybody, thank you so much for your time. And please comment down below. Do whatever you like. If you want to like this video, like it. If you didn't like it, let your voice be known. If you think this channel deserves a subscribe, I don't think personally you probably should not subscribe right away. if I get this right, Logan Paul wins, you better subscribe because I'm probably one of the only people besides Teddy Atlas saying Logan Paul's got a chance. And yeah, he's taking the sport seriously. And I'd say his brother's taking it even more seriously. As much as people want to say they're trolls, they are internet trolls, but they are businessmen. They know what they're doing. I'm not saying Logan Paul knows he's going to win this fight, but he knows he's got a chance. Uh, like I said, size. He's got size. He's got the length of his arms. He's got motivation. He's got youth on his side. We don't know how hard Logan Paul punches. I mean, he did knock KSI down with like 2 uppercuts, which were kind of dirty, but he still knocked him down. Nevertheless, he got knocked down himself, so his chin is suspect. Although we have to, I'm going to say assume. I'm going to use that A word. We have to assume that Logan Paul's a lot better than what we saw against KSI. So that's all I have for this video. Have a great weekend. I don't know if I'll do another video before Sunday, but I don't know what else to say about this. But there's just, like I said, few scenarios. The one scenario Logan Paul wins is where he just boxes him, does his Vladimir Klitschko impression, keeps Mayweather at bay at the end of his punches. When he tries to get in, just keep your jab in his face. Keep the jab in his face. Don't let him come in. I mean, he's going to have to close the distance himself by coming in. So that's that's going to lead to Mayweather taking more chances, leaving himself more open because when you're punching, you're opening yourself up. So let Mayweather come in and take the chances because if he doesn't go try to land punches, he's going to lose the fight. He's going to lose on points. So Logan Paul can win this 8 round fight on points. Be smart. Don't fall for possum kind of tactics where Mayweather pretends he's hurt, or don't get too aggressive because Mayweather could counter. He's one of the greatest counter punchers, one of the greatest boxers in boxing history. So that's the scenario Logan Paul wins is by points, keeping him at the end of his jab, uh, doing a Floyd Mayweather on Floyd Mayweather of all things, where you're fighting a boring fight and just scoring points, or you can uh, bait Mayweather to fight on the inside with him. And I'm not saying Logan Paul's got better inside fighting game than Mayweather, but it's a risk because now Logan Paul can, pretty much knock you out. You give him that chance, that opportunity when you're just trading blows and just, like strongman competition, no defense at all. But Mayweather is very, very defensive. So I don't see that scenario where he won't be defensive. But by Mayweather trying to knock this man out and going the inside, that's very risky as well. Mayweather is going to have to do what he usually does, and we saw it against Diego Corrales, where he has to come in, land his punches, come out. Don't stay in there and trade with the man. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you very much. As MCG, episode 1, very big episode. Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather coming up this Sunday. So uh, hope to catch you after the fight and talk about it some more, whether I was right or wrong. I'm going to make a video and just say, you know what, Mayweather proved me wrong or Logan Paul proved y'all wrong. So that's all I have. Peace out and and thanks.